Yeah, hi all. Thanks for joining the call today. Today we are discussing about different type of data tables and how can we populate with all those things. So currently, whatever we are going to do in the Uipath, I will explain you all those things in the today's session. Before starting into the session, let me introduce myself first. I'm Lakshman Ganta, currently working as a RPA developer in technology lead in Broadridge company. I have total 6+ years of experience into RPA UiPath and overall 8+ years of experience in IT industry. I received the Uipath MVP award for 2022 and 23, and also received 14 community awards from the Uipath as active member in the forum. Let me go to the guys. If you have any questions in between and all, please post in the chat window. I can answer all those things at the end of the session. At the end of the session, we have Q&A session is there. We can discuss all those your queries and all.
So just to confirm, Lakshmi Ganta means you are the one who is posting in LinkedIn daily one
Yes,
update, right?
correct. Yes, I am the posting.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you. Same to you. Okay, today's agenda is like first I will introduce about the data table and data table structure and properties. What are the things are there in the data table and all? How can we populate the data table in the UiPath? Filtering the data, how many ways we can filter the data table in the UiPath? And next one is data table manipulation. How can we do the do some updation, deletion and all in the data table? Sorting and grouping the data based on some particular columns and all. How can we sort the data, grouping the data? Merging and joining the data tables. How can we merge the merging or joining the different data tables, aggregating the data, and link query in the data table. Finally, we have Q&A session. First, we'll go into the data table one. Data table is a fundamental component in the programming, in the any of the programming language. And this data table will be very helpful in the UiPath. Most of the 80% of the project we are using will use the Excel data only. So for the Excel reading the data and all, we'll use read range activity and all. So it will give you the output as data table. So most of 80% of the projects definitely at one part will use the data table only. And also it has so many advantages and those things and all, why we need the data table and all. Here I'm showing this is the sample data, how in the data table structured data will be looks like. Guys, if you anyone not talking, can you go on to the mute once?
Yeah, you can proceed, Lakshman. I muted.
Yeah, coming to the populating the data table. In UiPath, there are several ways to populate the data table. Here I list down some of the common things. How can we generate the data table in the UiPath? One is build data table activity. We have one separate activity in the UiPath called build data table activity. It will help us to generate the data table. And second one is using, I will show you all the how examples and all one by one. First, I will go through this presentation. Second way is the other way is the using Excel or workbook read range activity. If you want to read some data in the Excel file, we have some activities are there, Excel and workbook activities. By using that activities, we can read the data. It will generate an output as in the data table format. And web scraping. Let's say in one of the any desktop application, web application, we have tabular kind of format data will be there. By using data scraping activity, we can read all the structured data. Again, it will also generate the output as data table. Database queries. In UiPath, we have so many database activities we have. Execute query, non-query and all. Those activities also will give you the output. It will connect to the database. It will read the data and it will give you the output as data table format. And also we can create one data table by using build data table activity, and we can add the data to that by using add data row activity. We can add the one by one row to the original data table. And CSV or text files. we have separate activity for reading the CSV file. Read CSV file activity we have. It will also give you the output as data table. By using text file also we can convert the string to data table. We have some specific activities we have. It will convert the particular string to the data table. And by using some API calls also we can read the, it will give you the output as JSON. From there we can convert the JSON string to the data table. First I will show you the how can we populate the data table in the Uipath. Let me go to the Uipath. I just created a one workflow, sample workflow only. So I'm creating the new sequence. You can give the any name and the location I'm giving. Now I'm clicking on create. So we'll go to one by one activity. First we'll go to the generate data table. I will show you the build data table activity first. How can we generate the data table? So we have, as I mentioned, we have build data table activity. It will help us to create the data table in UiPath. Now we can click on the data table. Here you can specify the column names. By default, it is giving column 1 and column 2. You can change it as per your format, as per your required format. Data table is nothing but is a collection of rows and columns. It will be. So that column also we can create as per our input and all. You can change the data type also. Whether you can keep it as boolean. This is for particular data field, integer, string, object and all. If you don't have any available option, you can click on browse for types. There are so many options we have. As per our input type, you can select the corresponding data type. So you can give the column. If you want, you can change the column name also here. And if you want to allow the null to the data table, you can check this option, allow null. So if you're passing unique, if it is uniquely identified that column, so you can give the option as unique. Let's say for some kind of ID, some Aadhaar card number, those IDs will be unique numbers, right? So can you check this option unique? So it won't allow the duplicate things in the data table. And maximum length, how much length you want to allow for the particular column. By default, it will be 100 will be there. If you don't know specific length and all, you can keep it as -1. So it will allow you unlimited number of characters here. No maximum length, you can keep it as -1. If you know the predefined one, then you can set the value 50 or 100, how much you want, you can set it. Similar way, you can column 2 also there. You can, if you want to add one more column, you can click on plus symbol here, add column. Column 3, and you can change, you can define the data type, what data type you want to define. You can click on OK. Guys, I would request you to, if you're not talking, can you please go into the mute once? It will disturb the others. So in this way, you can create the n number of columns. How many number of columns you want, you can create this one. And this
Can
build
we
data
take array of strings? Can we take array for the column value?
array. Yeah, you can take that one. You can click on this column 3. Let's say I want to define it as array of string. You can select the array of T and you can check the string. So you can define.
That means it will save two values there, two or more values in that column.
Yeah. Yes, you need to pass into the array format that string. Whatever the array values are going to pass to this particular column, it should be in the array format you need to pass.
Okay. Thank you.
So in this way, by using build data table activity, we can create the data table. So here
how
output.
Can we use auto increment option here? You have not explained about it, right?
No, actually it was disabled. Okay, let me go to the integer value. So if you're not giving any value, right, after increment by adding one by one column, it will add the values. Let's say first you are starting with 1. So it will increment the value 1 by 1, 2, 3 and all. It will be applicable for only integers.
Suppose if I maintain any serial number as a column, then
Yes,
after every update of each row, it will update the
it
serial
will
number.
increment, it will add by one row. That only applicable for only integers. String and all, it won't work. If your serial number is integer, you can use that option. So this is the output. You can say just click on a Control K and you can give the data table name for what name you want to keep it. So generally, as a UiPath best practices and all, we'll create any data table with the DT. DT means data table underscore and whatever the name you want to keep it. Let's say I want to give it as input. So we can give it. This is the UiPath best practices. Even in RE frame, we are following the same name. DT underscore input.
And I have one more doubt. Can I ask you?
Yes.
In build data table, suppose I have created 4 columns. Out of 4 columns, first column I have fixed values up to 10 rows.
Okay.
Okay. Suppose in first column I have 10 fixed values. Can I use
Okay.
that? I mean, can I give here the fixed values in this student column?
No, here we can't fix those things and all. Here we don't have any option to limit the this take less this many number of rows only. We don't have any option to limit. Once
Okay.
we get the build data table, later you can define all those things. If you want to take only 10 rows only, you can. I will show you all those things. How can we do those things? But
Okay.
in the build data table option, this is just creating the data table. We don't
Mhm.
have any condition to set for anything here.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Now next let me go to the reading the data table from the Excel file and all. Now I am just using the Excel application scope. I hope you all know how to read the data from the Excel file and all. So I'm using just Excel application scope activity and I'm giving the Excel file path where I want to read the data. Then I'm using read range activity. So I created some test data here already. Some kind of student details I kept ID and name, all those things. It is under sheet 1 and also I created a sheet 2 also. I will show you some of the examples and how can we do all those things based on these two shoot sheets. I will show you the examples and everything. So by using read range activity also we can read the data table. We can you can check the add headers and option. Again, this option also it will give the output as a data table. Coming to the third one, we can use the web scraping. So in the UiPath, we have an option called screen. We have two options will be there: data scraping and table extraction. If you want to scrap any structured kind of data, whether it is any browser or application from any document, if it is a tabular format, you can use this option to read the data. Now let me show you those things. Let's say now I opened the Excel file. I will go to the data scraping and data scraping option here. So now we need to open your browser or application or document to navigate where you want to extract the data. First, we need to open the application in the backend. Then you can click on next. So now you can see this, it is trying to identify individual value. If I select any of the particular value, automatically it will extract all the values from the entire Excel file. You can see, just I indicated one cell value, UiPath automatically recognize that one. It is looks like tabular format. It fetched all the details. This is one of the very helpful activity in the UiPath. If you compare it to the other programming language, if you want to read any tabular kind of data from any application or anything, we need to do a lot of coding. But in UiPath, single activity, it can generate all those things. It will read entire data from the Excel. I will show you the how from the now we read from the Excel file. I will show you from how the application from web application also we can read the same kind of structured data. Here you can see I opened Acme website. From here also we can use the data scraping option here. I'm clicking on data scraping. I'm clicking on next. So here I'm just selecting one of, you can select any of the value, either column header or column cell, any of the value you can select. So after clicking on that one, automatically Uipath will recognize you selected a table cell. Would you like to extract entire data from the table? If we'll click on yes, it will extract all the data here. Here one more option we have, maximum number of results will be, if you want, if you don't know how many number of rows of data we have, you can keep it as 0 if you don't know the number, exact number. If you know the exact number, you can define those things. Let's say you're giving 100, but here we have only 30, means it will read only 30 rows only. If you don't know the exact number, you can define as 0. So it will read how n number of rows, how many number till end of the file, it will read all those things. Once you click on finish, it will ask you for is data spanning for multiple pages. If you want to scrap for multiple pages, if yes, you can indicate the option. How can we go to the particular page navigator and all? Here you can see in some of the web applications we have next will be there. In some of the options we have greater than symbol. So whichever option is available for navigating from one page to other, that option you can indicate there. So it will record that entire session. It will give you the output. Again, this output also again in the data tabular format only. You can see extract data table, it was generated. If we'll go to the variables, that variable type will be system.datatable. So by using data scraping also, we can read the structured data. It will give you the output as data table. And one more option we have, generate data table activity. By using generate data table activity also, it will convert the data table to string. If once you search in generate data table from the text, you can click on options. Here you can pass the input string. Let's say I'm giving student ID, name, address. I'm giving 123 Lakshman. So let's say this is the string, not as it looks like the comma, either CSV file or anything. That is a simple input string. It is a string format. But in the generate data table activity, we have multiple options. We have. If you want to first row, use first row as column headers, you can check the option as use first row as column headers. Here I have the column headers, right? Student ID and name. You can define that one. If you want to ignore the first column, you can check the option ignore it. On what basis you want to separate the every column? We have an option, different options are there. Column separator, space, tab, new line, colon and all. Here I'm using the semicolon to separate the each individual column. So I'm selecting the semicolon here. For new line separator, for new line, which one you want to use? So I am using the new line as separator as new line here. So if you're clicking on preview,
used comma as separator.
sorry. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So here, okay, I'm removing the semicolon here. So whichever the column separator you're using, here I'm using the comma. So I selected those things and just clicking on preview. So by using this generated data table activity, we can easily convert any structure, some kind of data string to, we can easily convert to the data table. This is one of the way to generate the populating the data table in the Uipath. In the similar way, we can use some database activity. Currently, I don't have any database things to show you, but by using database also, we have some separate activities are there, execute query, non-query. From those activities also, we can read the data from the database and it will give you the output as data table. And by using for each loop activity, we can create one build data table activity. Then we can use for each loop, we can add the n number of rows to the data table. And CSV are text files. by using read CSV file activity. If you have any CSV file, you want to read the data, you can use that activity also. CSV is nothing but comma separated value. How just now I showed you, right? In the similar way only. You can use read CSV file activity. You can select the file path here, and it will select you the out. It will give you the output as data table again. That's not required. So these are the, and also APIs also, by using some API calls also, it will give you the output as JSON string. If you want, you can convert it as the data table. Yeah, these are the ways by using, these are the different ways to generate the data table in the Uipath activity. In Uipath. Now let me go to the filter data table activity. Let's say you have a large volume of data is there. You want to filter some specific data from the data table. So in UiPath, there are different ways we have. If you know the coding and all, well, we can use the select query, and for each row activity and all link query, we can use all those activities. We can filter the data table. If you don't know any coding background, also we have simple activities there. Filter data table activity. It will filter all the things, required data, and it will give you the output as data table. I will show you all the options one by one now. Now I'm commenting out this one. Just I'm reading the data from the first sheet only. So here already I have the data is there, sheet 1. Here I will show you how many ways we can filter the data table, filter the data. Now let's say I want to read the data from this cell. Whoever got the English subject value more than 70 they got, I want to filter out all the details, all the student users, and I want to write into the different sheet. We'll do this task. First, I read that I used Excel application scope and I provided the Excel file path. Then I'm using read range activity to read the data. Here I provided the sheet 1, and you can provide the range as empty, blank, so that it will consider from starting onwards, A1 onwards. If you have any headers in that Excel file, you can check the option add headers. My input data has headers is there. So I'm checking the header option. I'm saving the output into the DT input 1. Now I will show you how many ways we can filter the data table. First, this is the simplest way. If you don't know any coding background and all, you can use this activity. So here we can pass the DT input. So whatever the previous reading input, you can pass that input to here. So I'm giving the input as DT input 1. Then you can click on configure filter. Here you can see in what column you want to do the apply the filter condition. So here I want to read whoever got the English is greater than 70. I want to read all the users details. So I'm selecting. So here I'm the column name. Less than, greater than, and all. So here, as I mentioned, I want to read whoever your student got more than 70 in English. I want to filter all the student details. So I'm clicking on English greater than and the value, whatever the value. So here value is 70, right? So integer, you don't need to mention it, 70. And what are the, you can see keep or remove matching rows. If you want to keep all the rows, you can select the keep option. If you want to remove all the options, you can select the remove option here. And here we have one more option called output columns. In the output, in the whatever the after filtering that one, it will give you the output as one more data table. You want, what are the columns you want to give? You can define all the columns. If you're not specifying anything, it will give you all the columns. Whatever let's say in input data table we have this many columns are there. If you want to, if you want all the columns, you no need to specify any columns. If you want only few columns only, let's say first 3 columns only you want, you can define those things here. You can mention all the column names here. Keep the option as keep, and you can keep those things. So I'm selecting the English here, and whoever got the 70, I'm already created one output data table DT output. So I'm saving the output into the DT output here. Here I already created the output of type DT output and data table here. Now we filter the data. Now we want, let's see how we'll, now we want to see the data, what is the output it is getting. So you can use the write range activity. I am writing into the same Excel file in the but different sheet. So here I'm giving the sheet 3, and whatever the previous output is there, filter data table activity, I'm specifying here DT output. You can select the, if you want the headers, if the input file has headers, you can select the option as add headers, so that it will consider it will add the first row as headers also. So first we are reading the data, then we are applying the filter on those input data. Whatever the output is generating, we are writing into the sheet 3 in the same Excel file. So now we don't have any sheet 3, right? Now once the bot run is completed, it will create the new sheet called sheet 3, and it will, whatever the rows are matching, it will write all those details here. So now bot run is completed. Let me go to that Excel file. You can see bot created the new sheet, sheet 3, and it wrote all the data. Whoever got English is 70 greater than 70, it fetch all the details. Earlier we have total 10 rows we have, but here we have 6 rows we have. That's it. So this is the simplest way to, if you don't know any coding background, anything, this is the simplest way to filter the data. Now same thing I will do it in the one more select. We have, if you know some little bit coding background and all, we can write some select queries, some link queries. We have many options to do the filter. Now let me show you the other way. Now I commented out the filter data table activity. Now I'm drag and drop one assign activity. I will show you how to write the select query and all. So first we'll need to, on which input source you want to apply. So first we need to give the input source name, input variable name. So I'm giving the DT input 1, whatever the input holds the entire data. Then I'm selecting. So here many options we have. You can use any of the option to apply those things. So here I want to, as I mentioned, I'm going to use select query. So DT input dot select, open brace. Here we have an options or multiple options we have. So I'm giving double quotes. In between we need to write the query. So now let's say I want to this English only again. So I am selecting this English.
Lakshman, for example, if you don't know the sheet name, how we can able to take it?
If you don't know the sheet name, okay, I will show you that one. After this one, I will show you those things.
If you know the sheet name, because keep on the client will sending in a Excel sheet in a different name. So how you can able to take it?
Yeah, I will explain you that one.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
So here I'm giving the English. So whatever the value is there, you need to provide in the single quotes. Then I'm writing copy to data table. It will, this activity will give you, if you're not providing this copy to data table activity, it will give you the output as array of data rows. So if you want to convert the array of data rows to the data table, we have a property in the .NET copy to data table. So it will convert into the data table format. So I'm selecting whatever the column name is there, the English greater than 70 I'm giving. So now I'm giving the same output, DT output again here. So, see, earlier I used the filter data table activity. I commented out that activity. Now I am using select query to filter the data table. So again, I'm reading.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes.
You have, I mean, you have taken the output DT, right?
Yes.
So there is no specific page. I mean, page name. So how it will retrieve the data, extract the data?
Specific page name in the I didn't get your question.
Actually, in the Excel sheet name, there is no Excel sheet name. Okay. So how it will retrieve the data from the Excel?
No, here we have sheet is there, right? Sheet one.
Okay. Did you mention in the, I mean, like you have written some code, right?
No. See, actually in this assign activity, we no need to mention any sheet name. Just to here, we need to mention the column name. The sheet name will be in the read range activity.
Okay. Okay.
Earlier I used filter data table activity, right? Here also I'm not specifying anywhere sheet name. Sheet name will be in the read range activity. It will give you the output as data table. From there, we can apply filter data table activity, select query, link query, and all.
No. He's
Okay. Okay.
asking
Okay.
output for which sheet you are selecting.
I'm selecting sheet one only here. You can.
Sheet one you are taking as input, right? For the output, which sheet, how you are selecting the sheet three, like that he's asking, I think.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sheet.
here see, I saved the output into the DT output now. So that DT output, here you can give any sheet name here, whichever you want. Let's say now I'm giving sheet 5. So if you
Okay.
go to that
Okay.
Excel file, here
Instead
we
of
don't have.
for filtering only, you are taking. I mean, you're writing the code for filtering purpose.
Yes,
Filtering only,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
filtering purpose we are doing here. No need to mention
Yes.
anything here.
Okay. 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 It will read the sheet one and it will retrieve the data and whatever it is in sheet one, and it will write to the sheet like whatever you have output,
Yes,
right?
yes, correct. So now we
Okay.
don't have sheet 5, right? So it will go to after assigning the activity, it will whatever the output is coming, that one I'm passing to right range activity, and I'm giving the different sheet name so that filter data will write into the different out sheet.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Now let me run the workflow again. See here bot created the different sheet 5, and it wrote all the data. Whoever got the English is greater than 70, it wrote all the details. Yes. You can compare sheet 3 and sheet. So in this way we can this is one more option. By using select query we can do all those things, and I will show you the one more query. How can we filter the details? There are so many ways are there to filter the data table. I will show you one more option now. I'm commenting out that activity again. I'm taking one more new activity as an activity. Again here the read input will be same only. I'm showing the different ways of filtering the data.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So I'm taking again DT input 1.
But one thing, Lakshman, actually, see, if there is a time and date will be there, right? In the
Yes.
there will be a many formats will be there. There will be a month, year, a month, DDYY, DDMMYY will be there. Day, month, year will be there. Month, day, YY will be there. But
Yes.
so if you want to retrieve the data, for example, 06, 06 will be the month will be there, day will be there.
So you need to define that whatever the input format date you have, you need to define all those things. It is in the DDMMYY format or not. If you, I will show you. I already posted one query in the LinkedIn. You can check there. How can we show all those things? Because currently, for time being, I'm not explaining all those things because it is out of the topic. I can. You can go to my LinkedIn profile. There, I'm every day. I'm posting one Uipath expression. Already I covered the topic. You can check there. If you have still any questions, you can ping me in LinkedIn. Or anywhere I will get back to you on those things.
Sure. Okay.
So now I am taking the DT input one again input as enumerable. So what is this as enumerable activity it will do? Whatever the input source you have, it will convert to the enumerable collection of data rows. Then you can so now I'm reading the data and converting all to data rows. Then I'm applying the condition where here I want to apply the condition, right? So I'm giving some kind of lambda function of x. You can give anything. It's not like always it should be function of x. You can give function of a or anything. It is a kind of lambda function. So I'm giving x, whatever that particular row. Here we need to define the column name here. So here column, let's say I want to sheet 1. I want to take whoever students have more, total score is more than 400. I want to I want to filter all the details. You can go to this way, x of total. And we need to convert it to .toString. Here we have here this number is the integer, right? So we need to convert to the integer first, that it is not a string, the total. So we will to convert any string to integer, we can use a method called cint, convert int. So greater than 400. Then again you can it will be output of array of data rows. You can use the copy to data table activity. It will help you to convert to the data table. So here you can see first I am giving the DT input, whatever the input source is there as enumerable. This method will convert the whatever the input is, it will convert to the enumerable of data rows. Then we need to apply filter condition where we are defining some condition, right? So here we am giving where function of x. It is a kind of lambda function of x means it will be one by one row will come x of total. So total whose marks is greater than 400. I'm applying the filter x or total score is more than 400. Then I'm keeping copy to data table. Here again I'm giving the same name as DT output. Here I'm giving the different sheet name. I'm giving we don't have sheet 4, right? So I'm giving sheet 4 now. So it will check check in the input source whose total score is greater than 400. It will filter all the rows. It will write into the different sheet. I'm running the bot again. We can give the same name also, but write range activity, it will override the data. It won't append the data. We have separate activities, the append range activity. It will help you to, let's say it is some data is existing in the particular sheet. It will append to the existing data. So bot run is completed. You can see it created the sheet 4 and it wrote all the data. Whoever total score is greater than 400, it filtered all the data, it write into the new sheet. So these are the different ways to filter the data table in the Uipath. And one person asked me to, how can we, if you don't know the sheet name, how can we do those things, right? Let me show you the tag. See here we have an activity called get workbook sheets. Or get work, you can use the get workbook sheet activity. It will, you no need to specify, just you can, it will give you the output as array of that. It will give you the output as list. It will take all the rows. So let's say here we have total 5 sheets we have, right? It will give you the all 5 sheet names. Then you can specify you want to look into particular sheet. You can add some conditions, if condition activity, and check that that particular sheet is existed or not. If it existed, you can read that particular sheet. If it is not existed, you can throw some error or anything. So by using get workbook sheet, you need to keep it into inside Excel application scope, and you can use this activity. It will read all the sheets from the particular Excel file.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Coming back to today's session. So for each row activity, simple. Once you get the, okay, one more difference will be there. If you're using with data table activity, we need to use the for each row activity. We have to, if you search for each, we'll get two activities generally. For each loop, that for each loop will be like for array of strings, array of list or anything. For those things, we'll use the for each row activity. If you have input is data table, you need to use the activity called for each row data table activity. It will accept only input as data table only. See here, if we'll use a normal for each activity, we can't pass the data table there. It will show some error warnings are there. See, this is a normal under control. We have one more for each is there. It will be for list array of items, list any enumerable collection of anything. There we need to use the for each activity. In interviews, so people will ask, what is the difference between for each and for each row activity and all. If you have input as data table, you need to use the for each row in data table activity. So it will take only input as data table only. Then you can apply, you can keep some if condition or anything. You can check whether the particular cell value is so and so matching or not. As per the requirement, you can use that one.
Nothing that special. We can also iterate the data table by using for each activity, sir.
Yes, by using for each row activity also we can iterate, but it will be, say, let's say why I'm showing select query and link query and all, it will be faster. Let's say you have 1000 rows of data is there. If you are using for each for each loop activity, it will go iterate one by one. So compared to this link query and all, it will be too slow because it need to iterate one by one row. Link query will be, and on entire data table it will apply the one time shot. It will check all the rows and it will give you the output. But whereas in for each loop it will iterate one by one row and it will check the condition. So but performance wise link query will be faster. Link, filter, data table activity, select query and all. If you don't have any performance concerns or anything, you can go with the for each row activity. If you have only less number of rows are there, less 50, 100 and all. So for each row activity will be quicker. You go with that option. Now let me go to the next. Data table manipulation. As I mentioned, we have in the data table, we have so many options are available in the Uipath. We can add the new rows, we can delete the particular rows, we can sort the data, grouping the data and all. All those options so now we have. So I will show you I will show you one task for how can we join the two different data tables. Now let's say ID student one and all we have. In the sheet 2, we have all the IDs is there. This is a common column and then we have address. So if you want to join any of the two data tables, there should be definitely one single common column should be there. Then only we can join two different data tables. Else we can't join two data tables. I will show you with this one with the link query. Before going to the link query, I will explain you 4 things. How that link query will be there. Actually, in link query, we have total 6 parts will be there. One is the open brace and at the end. Then in between, these are the major things will place in the link query. First one is reading the data. So here we'll give the from and whatever the variable name is there. In and what is the input data source, whether it is array or data table or anything. Whatever the input source is there, you can define those things. From reading the data, it will be read from from entire data table. It will read one by one row. Next one, coming to the preparation of data. So after getting the data, what you want to do preparation? You want to join between the two tables. If you want to sorting in the ascending order, if you want to join group the data. So it is a kind of preparation of the data. Once your preparation is done, then marking the data. Whether you want to apply any filter, whatever the preparation data is there after joining and all, you want to check any conditions or anything. So you can keep it as where condition, and whatever the condition you are going to keep on the input data. Next, coming to the next one, selecting the data. After preparation is done, marking the data is done, what kind of output you want to. So here we need to use the select, and the data you want to keep it here. So these are the major parts in the link query. One is reading the data. Next one is preparation of the data. Next, marking the data. Then selecting. After applying all the filter conditions, marking and is done. Then what are the data what type of output you want. So you can select and you can define all the number of columns and everything. Then converting now it will give you the output as array of data rows. So if you want to use the copy to data table activity, it will convert the entire output to the data table format. If you're using .to array, it will convert to the array format. Now I will show you the how can we use by using this link query. I can show you the join to data tables. So I am reading the first sheet and sheet 2. I'm deleting other things here, that comment outed part. I'm opening this as an activity. As I mentioned in the link query, we have 6 parts will be there. First, open brace and close. Now we need to give the first starting source from. I'm giving row 1. You need to define the data source name. Here it will be DT input 1. Now if you'll going to see the preparation of the data, what you want to apply. So I want to join the data tables. So I'm giving the option here, join row 2. Here we need to give the second data source. Now first time from row 1 DT input 1 join row 2 in DT input 2. First we joined both the things. Now we need to define the condition. So I'm using on row of 1. So here we have common column is there, right? On what basis you want to join the both the tables? So here we have common column called ID we have. So row of 1, here I'm giving ID. So equals if row of in the row 1 from the DT input 1 is equal to row of 2 in the ID column. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Lakshman.
Yeah, sorry, network disconnected from. Okay. Then we are using select query, select, and here we need to give I want in which data table you want to save that output. So I'm giving already I created the data table, right? DT output. So I'm passing DT output dot rows. So here in between we need to provide all the column names in the parentheses. So from the row, let's say now here based on ID1 column, I want to take ID1 from the sheet 1 ID student name and student and I want to combine with the address. So from sheet 1 I want 2 columns ID and name, and from sheet 2 I want the address. So we need to define all the column names here in this parenthesis braces row 1 of. From row 1 again, I want one more column. So name. So the column name is name, right? So I'm giving the name here. Now from first data table, I fetch the 2 rows. Now from the second data table, I want the column called address. So I'm selecting the option row 2. Here we need to give the column name. So it will be the address, right? So from the name should be, that column name should be exact match. Then only it will give the output. Else it will throw some error. So make sure that you're providing proper names and also no spaces or anything. Now now we applied the now we are applying the condition. What are the rows you want? We selected both the all the values. Now at the end we need to use copy to data table activity, so that whatever the output is coming, it will convert to the data table. So in this way we can join two data tables. Only one point thing you need to make sure, like whenever you are going to join two data tables, there should be definitely one common column should be there in both the data tables. Then only we can apply join between the both the tables. So now I'm keeping into the, only we have 2 sheets are there, right? I'm creating the sheet 3, I'm keeping. So whatever the output is coming, I am writing into the sheet 3. If I'll run this out, if I'll run directly this one, it will throw definitely error, because we are defining the DT output. Here we have, it is a different data table. Here we have the 3 different columns called ID, name and address. So before using this activity, you need to create one data table with all the 3 specific columns. What are the columns output format you want? You need to create all those things by using any build data table activity. By using build data table activity, you need to define that headers first. Then only it will append the data to that column, else it will throw some error. So by using build data table activity, I'm giving the output DT output here. So here we are selecting 3 columns, right? So I'm first one is ID. I'm not changing anything here. ID. Second one is name. And data type of name is string. So I'm converting to string, that one. And from the from second data table, I want the address. You need to define the table structure first before adding the data to that one. Else it will throw like object reference, null reference error it will throw. So what I did, after reading the data tables, in the whatever the output format, in what are the columns you want, you need to build the one data table with ID, name and address. Then then we are using link query. Here build data table, I saved the output into the DT output. After that, I'm using assign activity DT output. Here I used the link query. So whatever after applying all the conditions and all, DT output. So I'm writing into the new sheet called sheet 3 and I'm passing the DT output here. Here you can see DT out sheet 3 is not there. So now once the run is completed, it will give you the new data table with the three columns. From sheet 1, it will be ID1 and name. And from sheet 2, it will be the address. It will join both the data tables. Let me run the bot. Here I specified only 3 columns only. You can define anyways. If you want 2 columns or 3 columns or anything. So bot run is completed. If you go into the sheet 3, you can see with the 3 columns, it created it joined both the from sheet 1, it got the ID1 and ID2, ID and name. From the address, it fetched here. If I'll go to the sheet 1, you can compare whether it was giving the correct output or not. You can check those things. Here for 119 student 8 we have. In the sheet 2, 119 Bangalore we have. So if we'll go to the sheet 3, 119 student 8 Bangalore. So in this way we can join the data tables by using this by using this link query or anything. We can easily join any data tables. And also we can sort the data table also. Let's say here we have address column we have from the sheet 2. I want to sort the based on address column. I want to sort the entire data. That also we can do. So here just okay, I'm going to the populate. Here I'm just copying the data. I want to read only data, right? So I'm just copying this one into the new sheet. Okay, else I can remove it from. I'm commenting out this first activity. This build data table and all not required. So just first from the read range activity, I'm reading the data. I'm reading the entire sheet 2. Then once the sheet read is completed, again we can use some link query or anything. We can do the sorting of the data. I will show you one more option. We have direct with, if you don't have any coding background also, we have some simple activities there. By using that activity also, we can sort the data. So I will show you both the ways. So I'm removing all those things. First we are reading from row 1 and it will be the DT input 2. So I'm giving the DT input 2. Then here on what basis you want to sort the data. So here we are selecting the row 1, right? So row 1. And this will be the whatever the on what basis you want, on what column basis you want to sort the data. So I'm giving the specific column name here, address, and whether you want in the ascending order or descending order, you can give that one. After ascending the data, now you want to select the row. So after applying the row 1, so first will be input data source we need to specify, then preparation of the data, what you want to do after reading the data. So order by row of 1 address, whether you want in the ascending order or descending order, you can specify here. After that, it will be the select. If you'll go to the link query, this reading of the data and selecting of the data will be the mandatory things. This is optional 3 and 4, preparation and marking of the data. You want, you can use, else it will be optional. But these two are mandatory one, reading the data and selecting one. So first reading is done, then ordering the data based on select row 1, copy to data table activity. Now I am saving the data into the again one DT output. I'm giving the sheet name as sorting data. Let me run the bot now. So based on the address column, we are sorting the data and writing into the different sheet. So now run is completed. You can see it sorted the data here. Based on address column, it sorted. Earlier we have ID, first ID is 111, right? So it is sorting based on this this address, it is sorting the data here. And also we have one simple activity is also there from the Uipath itself only. By using that activity also you can sort data table activity. After reading the data is completed, you can use the sort data table activity. Here you can specify what is the output will be, again in what variable you want to save that output. And here you on basis of what column you want to sort the data, you can provide the column name and column index. Index will start from 0 onwards here. So if you want to do for the first column, so it will be 0. He from if you do the column position will be changed means you need to specify exactly column name. If column position will be fixed means you can go with the column index also. For if you want to sort the data based on ID column, you can define the column index as 0. And order will be ascending or descending order you want. You can specify that one. So by using the sort data table activity also, we can easily sort the data. So we have few more things are there. Maybe I will ask Edconlo to set up one more follow-up call, maybe in the next month starting or anything. Uh, I, if you have any questions or anything, we can discuss now.
Yeah, Lakshman, suppose sometimes we will have a similar column, right? The column names will be same. So
Yeah.
At that time, what is the best way to read those?
Yeah, this kind of scenarios also will occur. Sometimes same column name will duplicate column names will be there. So in that case, you need before doing the any actual processing of the data, first you need to rename the data, rename the column name first.
Okay, how can we rename the column names? And how we will know that column names are similar, like duplicate?
See, let's say now we have sheet 1 is there. Now I'm adding one more column called social only. Here I'm adding.
Okay.
If in this case, if I'll run the bot, it will show like duplicate columns found. It will throw definitely some error there because both the column names are same only here.
Yes.
So in this case, you need to before processing the data only, you need to rename the column. But second one should be social one. You need to do that one. And before reading the data only itself only, you need to rename the column name. That
How we
position and all
can
everything should be no. Let's say now this is the because that input file will be input will be constant, right? Input file format. Maybe data can change, but column names will be same, right? Headers will be before processing the data only, you know those things. So you need to rename the column. Then only you can do the one further.
I don't know. I am extracting some data from some other website or some application. So I don't know whether I have duplicates or not. At that time, how can we?
So then while you're reading, you can say, so while you're reading, read.
So I am doing that one. Is there any other option or anything
At the
other
moment,
than that?
we don't have any other options.
Yeah, either you need to rename that one or you need to remove the headers only.
Okay.
In that case, you need to remove the headers and you need to go with the position based, index based. You need to go to that values.
Even to go by the index, first we has to remove the headers.
Yes, you need to remove the headers first.
And also sometimes I will have the two columns in one. I mean, suppose here ID name is there, no?
Yes.
Upon that ID and name, I will have one more column name. So at that time, how can I read ID or name?
Okay, in that case, you need to use the lookup activity. First, you need to see where the ID started. First, then it will give you the cell value. From there, you need to then whatever the output is coming from lookup range activity. Lookup
So
activity.
lookup range activity also doesn't work if I have duplicates, right?
Yes. You mean that
Then
ID will be
how?
there in the multiple places.
Yes. Then at that time, how can we do that?
So in that case, whichever there will be definitely some column will be constant will be there, right?
Yes. Okay.
You need to go with multiple. Let's say ID is there in multiple places, but with the combining of both the columns, you can find single match. So you can go with if it is A1 is found with ID, there should be definitely B1 should be name. If it is not there, you need to go with the second matching one. Once you find the exact position, then you can pass the whatever the output cell is coming, that output you can pass it to the read range activity, and you can do from there you can select the starting as headers. Let's say you found the matching at C13. So you can from C13 onwards, you need to read the data. You need to mark the first one as a headers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question. How to read a multiple table in one sheet?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Okay, how to read a multiple table in one sheet? Example, in sheet one, there's a few table, like 2 table, and the table start at row number 5 and column C.
Okay, you mean like this. Now this is one table we have. You
Yeah,
mean
one
from one mirror we have one more table is there. You want to read this two table.
Yeah.
Are you asking this one?
Yes. How to read the data?
Yeah, if you have multiple tables are there in the input file, you need to define the first one will be A1. You need to know the whichever columns are from where the data will be started. We don't have any options. If these things should be before starting the reading only, you need to know all those things. We don't
Okay.
have any separate activity or any logic to identify those things.
Oh, okay. Thank
Okay, one more activity one more expression I will show you. Here we have address is there, right? On address column we have multiple some duplicate values are there, some of the city names. So we can have one activity is there, one expression we can use. I can remove all those things. Let me go to this expression. So first we need to provide the input source, dt input dot, then default view. It will we can, by using this default view, we customize our input data table. Then next one will be two table. Here first parameter will be like Boolean value it will take, whether you want the duplicate names or only distinct names only want. If you want duplicate names, if you want distinct ones, you need to keep the true and whatever column name you have. So I'm giving address here. If you want to duplicate city names also, you need to keep it as false. Based on address column, it will go to that address and it will see any duplicate values are found or not. If we are here we are selecting true, right? So it will select only unique rows only from here. If Vijayanagram is there in multiple places, here you can see one more. So it will give only single match only. If you're keeping true, if you're keeping false means it will give irrespective of unique and duplicate all the rows it will give you. Now I'm writing into default view. Yeah, 1 hour call is not sufficient for this data table things. Definitely we require one more. Okay, this one I'm going to do. Definitely we need 1 more hour. So I will ask Edcon to set up one more follow-up call maybe in the next month. So now bot run is completed. It filtered all the unique things here. In the original data table, we have 10 rows of data is there. So it deleted the duplicate records. It give the unique things. So by using this expression, you can find the duplicate thing. You can remove the duplicate things. If you want duplicate, instead of true, we can keep it as false value here. Yeah, these are my details, my email ID, and this is my Uipath forum profile. You can reach out me in the forum also. And this is my LinkedIn profile. you can follow up me every day. I'm posting some. Currently I'm doing Uipath expression series. So every day I'm posting one expression in the Uipath on the Uipath. You can go to my LinkedIn profile. You can find all the expressions there. Every day I'm posting one expression here. From last 26 onwards, I'm posting one. Today also I'm had to post that one. So you can see all the expressions related to the data table and different expressions I'm keeping. Every day I'm posting one expression. So you can follow up with me. If you have any questions also, you can reach out to me. You can ping me in UiPath forum or LinkedIn. I can help you then.
Hello, Lakshman.
Yes.
Earlier, the ma'am asked a question that if there are multiple tables in a single sheet, then
Yeah.
suppose we have three tables over here. So that many times we have to use read range, means three times we have to use the read range activities.
Yes, because the three tables are different, right? So you need to provide the starting and end range there.
Yes,
You
yes.
need to
Okay.
find out you need to do some VLOOKUP or something from there. So let's say from here one table we have started. This is one table
Yeah,
from
yeah.
other way here. So you need to use three different read range activity. You need to provide the starting cell and ending cell to differentiate all the tables.
That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. And also we have UiPath Balrava activities also. We have Balrava created so many Excel activities also. There may be some activity will be there to identify different tables in a single sheet. Maybe you can check Balrava Excel activities also.
Which one?
Balareva.
Balareva. Let's say if I'm going to this way, manage packages.
It's third party, no? Okay.
Yes, it's the third party. If in our company it is allowed means you can use it. You can see Balareva. I don't know whether that anything is existing or not. You need to check. You need to install this package. You can check these things whether we can identify multiple tables or not. This activity is more. This package is most popular. Many companies are using. But only one thing is like in our company, if it is third-party packages are allowed, you can use this one. It is based on our company policies and all.
Okay. Lakshman, my question is, so which is faster? Like, we can filter the data table by using SQL query also, database query. Okay, select star form like this. Okay.
Yes.
So we can also filter the data table by using filter data table activity. Also, we can filter the data table by using link queries. Which is
Yeah.
faster?
Link query is the faster one.
Okay.
Out of all those things, for each loop will be, for each row activity will be slower one. Link query will be faster. After that, select query,
Okay.
filter data table, then for each row.
Okay.
Because for each will be go iterate one by one row. Whereas link query, it will read on and it will apply filter on entire table at one shot only. Any other questions?
Yeah. Hello, guys. Are you all joined in our rpozone.in community, in our WhatsApp group, in our social media? Because we will conduct all these type of things in upcoming with speakers. Hello. Yes, definitely. We will post this in recorded session in the clubhouse and our website also, all in LinkedIn. We'll post in our all social media platforms. If you still not follow us any social media platforms, we'll share the links in the chat. Lakshman, we have one question. Some of the questions we are getting. Link query tables to transform the data type.
Yeah, I
Is
will
there
note
any
down
link
all
query?
the questions. Maybe in the next session, I will come up with all those
Yeah,
things.
definitely. We will conduct this session
Yeah, definitely
again.
there will be there will be queries are there. We need to know much things if you want to transpose any data table. And also I created some of the data table activities I posted in Uipath marketplace also. There we have
Okay.
direct activities.
Okay.
They're transposing the data table. It will convert the rows to columns and columns to rows. Idkonlu, can we ask everyone to turn on the camera, whoever available? We'll take one pic.
You can stop your screen share? Yeah? Okay, you already stopped it.
Yeah, I
Can you
stopped.
please on your turn cameras? Maybe I'm unable to on my camera. My camera is not working.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, please, guys, whoever available on the cam, can you please turn on your cam? We'll take.
And I have given my WhatsApp group link also in the chat. You can go through it.
Yeah, guys, if you like the session, yeah, you can turn off your camera. If you like my session, you can please post in the LinkedIn on social media and all. And also, if you have any questions or anything, you can get back to me. Maybe I will plan with Yedkonla, I will plan one more session in the RPA zone. We can come up with all the queries and all everything. We have few more expressions we have. I will cover all those things.
Thank you all the guys. I have given the WhatsApp group link in the chat. Okay, you can join through that link in our WhatsApp group, and whenever we are going to conduct the new sessions, you will get updates about it. Okay. And you can also suggest us the new webinars, which we can take, which we RPO zone will conduct the sessions. If you are anything you are missing in the industry, if you are interested to go with those sessions. Okay. Thank you, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks for joining the call.
Thank you.